Men, what's the brutal dating truth you wish women knew? If you play hard to get or push guys away and expect them to fight for you, you will end up with guys who ignore boundaries, and decent guys will think you're a psycho. I had this happen in my 20s. Had a few dates with a girl. I thought it was going well. She was away on a ski trip with a load of her friends, and she sent me a text that she thinks we should just be friends. I say that's a pity, as I thought we had chemistry, but that I respected her decision and wished her all the best. About 3 weeks later, I'm out with a group of friends, and I see she's out with the same group of girlfriends from the trip. One of them comes up and explains to me that they'd composed the message as a test and that I was supposed to fight for her love. Love, lol. After like 3 dates. She had, apparently, been absolutely distraught when I casually accepted the breakup, and prior to that had been telling people she thought I was the one. I was thinking about where we might get married, etc. Well, excuse me for respecting your boundaries. Lol. Story 2. Do not fall in love with someone's potential. This is a fundamental misunderstanding of what dating should be like or what a life partner is. Most people, especially young people, are fixer-uppers. Most 25-year-olds don't have their life together. That includes you. No, the great progress you have made in therapy doesn't make you furnished. A life partner should be someone you grow with. You should have enough love for each other that you drive each other to be better for each other. Your lives get entangled. You get hurt. That's life. Otherwise, you just end up in one shallow relationship after another, jumping from one ideal partner to another till you're 50 years old, single, broke, and child-free. That's not what a mate is. Of course, if you're a woman and out of this world beautiful, sure, go ahead. Pick the perfect partner. If you're a man and out of this world rich, sure, choose your perfect wife. However, just know that the husband will fly away once you cross 40 and the wife will leave you if you ever lose your wealth. Again, that's not what a mate is. For the vast majority of us mortals, you're a work in progress. So will be your partner. If mutual respect exists, willingness to change exists, and you know ways to communicate in healthy ways, it's far better to find a fixer-upper and customize it to your liking than marrying a hypothetical perfect partner that doesn't exist. Story 3. Anything worth having is worth taking slow and working towards. Don't rush it just because all of your friends got married and settled down first. It isn't a race, and those who look at it as one tend to be the first ones divorced because they jumped into things too hot and too heavy too quickly. Don't force it to work. It should come naturally when you're with the right one. Also, listen to people when they tell you who they really are. Lastly, any man that would make you cry isn't a real man. That's a big ocean out there. You don't need to settle for the first one you catch. Your partner should be your best friend. If you can't fully trust them, then you're not with the right one. Story 4. Healthy relationships take a lot of work to build and maintain, and that work is necessary on a regular basis. There will be ups and downs, amazing memories and frustrations, bonding and arguments. Patience will be tested, and the value of forgiveness is tremendously powerful. Success in one's career takes integrity, honesty, hard work, and communication. Having a positive social circle takes all those same things as well. Yet somehow people subscribe to the notion that love should be easy, or that it should naturally find its way into your life. Work hard to love yourself, and you will have a much lower chance of turning into the frustrated, waiting for this kind of love to find me type. You'll be much happier learning the confidence to pursue people you're interested in, instead of being the types of women who only ever pick from the small pool of men who have made the first move. Story 5. Honestly, my advice would be pretty similar to what I'd say to the men in my life. Enrich your life. Constantly seek to improve yourself and only use yourself as a metric for improvement. Set boundaries and resolve to enforce them when they're crossed. Do not let men or other women convince you to settle for being disrespected, dominated, and disregarded. Expect more from men. You're not responsible for pacifying their insecurities and putting up with them when they have no interest in evolving or changing for the better. Sometimes a relationship is in the cards at certain points. Don't let people tell you that you need to be anywhere in your life, family and kids, to have legitimacy or authenticity as a woman. You are who you are on the inside, regardless of whatever expectations are projected onto you by other people. Aspire to be the best version of yourself, whatever that looks like. Story 6. No, men are not all the same. Every woman friend that repeats that like a mantra doesn't have a good man filter because, well, they're all the same, right? Then they end up with awful guys based on other characteristics that are not as morals. Then when they obviously act like the schmucks they are, they're like, see, I knew it, they all suck. Please, be wary of red flags. No, you can't fix him. At best, you'll make him slightly better and he'll still suck. Story 7. Stats, bruh. What I'll term logical marriages have negligible divorce rates. If you're not dating toward a logical relationship, then your rate is through the roof. A simple variant is the internet is inundated with advice seekers such as, been married 5 years, never discussed and now found out he or she assumed we were or weren't having kids. That is beyond idiocy. How the heck you married 5 years and never discussed this? Better yet, how'd you date and not have already discussed all this? Story 8. Men don't pick up on your hints. Be direct. Don't settle but be realistic in your expectations. Date the gentleman, the guy who opens doors, helps you down the stairs when you're wearing a long dress, the guy who puts in the effort to impress you. Put in the effort yourself. Let him know you're interested by showing him you care, and for God's sake, don't even look at your phone during the date. Story 9. I feel like all the dating advice is for gay men or for girls dating men, or just generalizations that apply to anyone you're dating. I wish my ex-wife didn't infantilize my hobbies or interests when hers were literally Disney and Harry Potter. Meanwhile, Berserk was childish because it's anime. I wish the girls I date didn't use my mental health to stab my back. I wish the girls I dated could and would participate in some of my hobbies. I'm not asking for you to like it, but if I'm having to sit and watch all the Vampire Diaries and Grey's Anatomy and offer to build you 3 different magic decks, freaking sit down and play a game with me. I'm literally asking you to spend time with me. Story 10. Learn the traits of toxic men. Learn the red flags they'll present. Love bombing early in the relationship, establishing a superiority over you by self-aggrandizing and diminishing you, inconsistency and unavailability when you need them, manipulating you to do things you don't want to do, control over your time and activities. If he seems to prefer to hurry you during intimacy and has no interest in fulfilling your pleasure, don't let too many of these red flags pile up before you get the hell away from them. Don't think you can fix them. That's not going to happen. Don't be his next victim. Story 11. Please don't think that you're above projecting your issues onto people who don't deserve it. It's extremely frustrating and painful to get invested in someone who tells you about all the ways other guys have hurt them, only to have them turn around and start doing those same things to you because they never dealt with the damage. It's happened to me multiple times, and the people who've done it are usually shocked because they always considered themselves better than the people who did it to them, never considering that they had it in them to become avoidant, manipulative, or cruel out of a deep-seated fear that they've been trying really hard to deny instead of process. It's not fun having to be that life lesson for someone. Story 12. We're freaking idiots. We do not understand your subtle signals, and on the rare occasion that we think we do, we don't act on them because we're worried about being creeps and hitting on a woman who is just being friendly. Please just tell us if you're interested. I know it's less fun. I'm sorry. Everyone suffers from unrealistic body expectations. I won't pretend for a second that women haven't had it worse, but there's been something of a cultural awakening in that regard, and there's now a massive support network of other women for women. Men don't have that, and are rarely complimented on our appearance. If you tell a man he looks handsome or you like his shirt, he'll remember that compliment for the rest of his life. Story 13. This is advice for any gender, and to be transparent, it is a bit colored by the wrong-headed responses already given. Your intent alone will manifest a long-term and fulfilling relationship. Your intent, even when this intent is mirrored by a potential partner, don't guarantee that any 2 people will find this with each other. Relationships grow organically towards something more or towards their end. You can't skip this part. Sure, you need to be aware enough to identify obviously crappy people and eliminate them from your consideration. Sure, you need to be self-aware enough to recognize people who are entirely incompatible with you from the jump and exit the situation. But ultimately, you have to date people. You have to feel each other out and weigh the possibility of sharing something meaningful together. You have to give room and time for this to happen. You have to build towards something meaningful as a couple. You can't just manifest it by closing your eyes, balling your fists, and screaming into the ether. Further, you have to recognize that any potential relationship is casual until it isn't. If it never gets to that point, then you just had a casual relationship. Congratulations. When people talk as if they can control whether a relationship becomes committed or ends before that, it is just a signal that this person is too inexperienced to understand how dating works. They're speaking in theoreticals and don't know their butt from a hole in the ground. Now let's shift a bit. Intimacy isn't transactional. You can't trade intimacy for a long-term relationship. Simultaneously, intimacy doesn't diminish you or your value as a human being in any way. If 2 people honestly enjoy each other's company and choose to have intimacy, but then the relationship ends before becoming something more, this isn't a tragedy. These facts alone don't mean that either party did anything wrong or were disingenuous in any way. Consenting adults can be used for intimacy. They both chose to engage in the specific act, and this doesn't come with a promise of a relationship. You aren't in an exclusive relationship until or unless both parties agree to be in one. Finally, either party can choose to exit a relationship or potential relationship for any reason. You don't have to like it, but would you really want to continue seeing someone who no longer wants to see you? Of course not. A relationship, or potential relationship, exists between 2 people and it ends when either one of them chooses to end it. Story 14. I feel that everyone should really know themselves. Why they do the things they do, their pet peeves, quirks, deal breakers, etc. At the very least, you can let your partner know why you do something, which can make things more accepting. Like if you do something because you were forced to do it in a certain way by cruel parents, which probably you won't be able to change, you might accept it instead of getting annoyed because you can't understand why you do it. Story 15. People change over time. It's okay to admit when the person you're with now is not the person you were with then. Sometimes that's okay, and sometimes you need to realize they aren't going back to their former self and it's time to leave. Relationships are always easy in the beginning when the fire burns hotter. It gets hard when that heat naturally goes down over time. The real test is if you still feel the same about them after that honeymoon period has ended, because that's when it gets real. Story 16. All of these things are good advice. Unfortunately, no one takes it until they learn it for themselves. I was told most of what has been posted, yet I still ended up choosing two self-centered, cruel partners. Unless you've lived it, it's hard to see the signs, and that's too late because the damage has been done. People just need to have more self-esteem and self-worth. Slow down. Analyze things more closely. We tend to have blinders on, especially when the relationship is new. All that dopamine thwarts our critical thinking skills. I consider myself intelligent, as I'm sure most people do. Yet, I was deceived more than once. People give others the benefit of the doubt, find excuses and reasoning for the little red flags that pop up, and so ignore them. Only in hindsight do we see the error of our ways. It's easy to say, have more self-respect or love yourself first, but these usually come in response to someone being hurt. I don't know that there is anything I could have told my son or daughters that would have been taken into account once they entered a relationship. The saying love is blind is unfortunately true. Story 17. If you don't understand something about a guy, go ask another guy. Brother, friend, cousin, etc., because they actually know how guys think and actually listen to them. Your other single girlfriends are just as clueless as you, regardless of how confident they try to appear. Asking other women to interpret what a guy does or says, in my experience, is the blind leading the blind. I've heard so much incorrect information, bad advice, and wild logic by girlfriend groups applied to situations which amounted to basically just telling the friend what they wanted to hear versus what they needed to hear. Story 18. In high school, I was friends with a girl that I started to think I loved, so I brought her to a really nice restaurant and asked her to be my girlfriend, and she said no, because she just saw me as a friend. I was bummed, but respected it and moved on and dated other girls who were interested in being my girlfriend. Fast forward to 2020 and she DMs me on IG and we talk for a few days. Catch up in the last 10 years and then she tells me she wanted to date me in school, but I didn't try hard enough to get with her after she rejected me in that restaurant. So my advice is if a dude likes you and you like him back, just date him instead of playing stupid games, because if the guy's like me, we stop chasing the moment we're told to. Story 19. Nothing good comes out of dating bad guys or straight criminals. Ever. Having kids and starting a family is a couple's decision. Don't ever let yourself be pushed into a corner. Disney relationships don't exist in the real world. Be wary of perfect people. Be clear about what you want out of a conversation. Men are goal-oriented to stupidity levels. If you want help to fix something, let a man know and they'll start thinking of solutions. If you want moral support and to feel there's someone in your corner, let them know it's that kind of conversation. Story 20. If a key figure in your life doesn't trust this person, listen. When I was 16, my parents divorced. When I was 17, my mother found a new guy. A veteran from the Falklands War, apparently. I was eventually informed about this guy when he was going to be staying over, and I had to vacate my room so he could use my bed. After meeting the guy while he was showering, I was asked what I thought of him and I said something was off and I don't trust him. I warned my mom that I don't think this is going to work out. She hit me with "You're just a teenager. You don't know what real love is. How can you know when you never had a girlfriend?" And also brought up a time when I had gone to her for advice dealing with a relevant, traumatic experience and weaponized it against me. She pursued the relationship. She also ended up building a better relationship with the guy's parents than with her supposed boyfriend himself. His mom even came on vacation with us once, but not him. My mom would get so anxious when he's coming over that she'd spend the previous day and or day of his visit in the bathroom and would tell me that I'm supposed to use her as a model for what a healthy relationship looks like. Healthy, you say? About 6 or 7 years in, the guy just poofs. All contact. Gone. She stops hearing from him, can't get a hold of him. She spends this time yelling to herself, he's still active in the Navy, he must be on duty in a submarine or something. He talks to his parents and apparently he's going to come visit and clear the air when he returns to shore. The fateful day arrives. My mom spends all day waiting and he never shows up. Nothing at all. By this point I was unsurprised. We hear nothing for 18 months. Why 18 months? Well, he suddenly gets in touch. He's inviting my mom to Thailand, close to where he was deployed. Turns out he met and is marrying a local woman and wanted to invite my mom to the wedding for closure. I knew I was right to not trust this schmuck. Just because I was inexperienced doesn't mean I can't get bad vibes from a guy. When your core family thinks someone is off, listen. As an aside, my mom somehow tried to weaponize me being right against me. When I got romantically involved with someone, who's now my wife, she told me, date around with a bunch of different women to build experience so you know what you're getting into. Yeah, that's right. After all this, she wanted me to behave like her schmuck ex because of some twisted get experience logic. According to her, having a bunch of side girls is the best way to find a strong, healthy relationship. After my future wife came over to visit and was on her way home, the very first thing she said to me was, now you've had your fun. Are you ready for a real relationship now? Free bonus advice, don't be like her either. If your kids are finding their first relationships, don't be like this. They'll do what I did and cut you out and, if applicable, permanently move to the country in which their partners live. Now she openly admits to sleeping in my old bed because she misses me, and honestly, I just think that's downright creepy. Story 21. I've had this conversation a few times with my 30-year-old sister and some female friends. Most men don't communicate with women, or other men like women communicate with other women. Men are direct, and when they speak, primarily communicating information. We're simple, direct, and obvious with how we communicate. We rarely read in between the lines in social, non-romantic relationships because we don't often need to. Women have more complex social relationships and networks than men do, in addition to being socially conditioned to be more emotionally intelligent. This often lends itself to communication based on subtlety, context, hints, and relational organization, and is very different from how most men tend to communicate. There's no right or wrong answer as to what the most effective way to communicate is because it's very subjective, but most men prefer direct, simple, obvious communication. If you're interested in a man and you need something from him or want him to listen, you need to be direct. We appreciate it and will make us more motivated to keep you around. Story 22. A good relationship is not work, it's effort. There's a difference. So many people believe the mantra is a good relationship is work and take that to mean it's normal to be constantly arguing with their partner and working through conflicts. No. If the work of your relationship is constant, weekly or monthly conflict and relationship resolution, that's a sign it's a bad relationship. However, a good relationship is indeed effort, i.e. the effort to bring your best self to the relationship, giving your partner grace, doing nice things for your partner even when it would be easier not to, taking the time to do fun things together even when you're feeling lazy, etc. Effort is joyful. Work is stress. Your relationship should be fun and happy and joyful, not stressful. Story 23. This whole section reeks of USA. So much of this dating advice falls flat in Europe because women here have much more autonomy in their dating life. If I have to say something that hasn't been said before, if you meet a man who is experienced and he can smoothly interact with you as a woman, it means he made his mistake with someone else in the past. At some point in your life, you're going to be the one who a man makes his mistakes with. It's hard to keep a relationship like that healthy because of the emotions and resentment. It's better to quit those relationships because you'll both be better off. You might not make the same mistakes with someone else that he made with you, and that might hurt, but you can also have the chance to find a man who already made his mistakes and doesn't need to make them with you. If you're enjoying the video, don't forget to hit that subscribe and like button for more videos like this. Story 24. For them, it's okay to see more potential in someone than they see in themselves, but if they don't see what you see within 4 to 6 months, they never will achieve that potential. If someone is going to change for you, it won't happen late in the relationship. It'll happen early. For me, I don't want to date your friends or your friends' kids. Relationships are hard enough without having to worry about what happens if it doesn't work out or to get grief about it from family. No, I don't want to tell you why I broke up with your friend because you're my sister and you don't want to know your friend has seriously questionable personal hygiene. And Mom, I get it. Your friend's daughter has a great personality. She's also 37, never married, has never lived anywhere except her childhood bedroom, and has an unhealthy obsession with K-pop. You're not trying to do me a favor. You're trying to help your friend get their offspring out of their house. No, I don't want to take one for the team. These are both real examples. Story 25. On giving hints, give whatever hints you want, but how is he supposed to know that this isn't simply the way you treat everyone? There are ladies who flirt with everybody either for attention or they're just that outgoing, and almost every guy has been burned by thinking they were receiving hints when they weren't. The brutally honest part, though, you may be well aware that you're into him and just not be into you. If you're unwilling to make a direct advance, however, he's not exactly able to directly tell you he's not interested by any means other than ignoring your hints. If you believe in gender equality and don't think that anyone should be a woman's role within a relationship, merely because she's a woman, a sentiment I agree with, then why do you expect it to be the man's role to be the one who asks you out? Because you're afraid of rejection? Why do you think men feel any different? Story 26. That hint you gave him didn't work for the same reason nobody can hear you whisper at a heavy metal concert. You're speaking at a frequency he can't hear. Short of wearing a giant neon bullseye on your forehead, we aren't going to notice whatever it is you did. I had an ex that told me she'd been hinting for weeks, and even now, 20 plus years later, I have no idea what she did to hint to me. Just be direct. You don't have to put it all out there right away, but speak in terms of the next action that you would like to happen. If you like a guy, think about the next immediate thing you'd like to happen between you. Want him to come over and talk to you? Say that. Want him to call you? Say that. Want to go on a date? Say that. Men don't speak womanese, and we aren't going to start. We're wired differently. Story 27. You cannot say one thing and expect something else. If you want us to open up to you on what is stressing us out in the day, you need to be prepared to listen to our frustrations. You can't then go and throw them in our face. You need to understand that we have put much more thought into this. And if you want to be an empathetic ear, then do that. You can't complain about the financial situation, then get angry when we start taking on more hours and are homeless. You can't get mad at us for being affectionate. Then when we tone it down and stop, be angry that we're ignoring you. You also can't complain that we don't spend enough time together. Then when we do go out to do something fun, disappear into your phone. If you're not happy with the event, it is up to you to suggest something that might be more up your alley. Just expecting us to pick up on it and solve the problem is ridiculous. You have the same amount of agency as we do. We are not women. We do not think like women. Our brains are biologically wired differently. The only way we can both bridge this gap is by clear, consistent communication, or nobody gets what they want. Story 28. Intimacy is important. It's a beautiful idea that love conquers all, but love is expressed in all sorts of ways. If a person is denied physical attention, it has to be discussed deeply and thoroughly. Otherwise, each person will make their own conclusions. That doesn't mean intimacy is mandatory. It means if you aren't enjoying it or if you have no desire for it or vice versa. If the man wants nothing to do with it, then either both parties are perfectly happy with that or something has to change. Being silent and just ignoring intimacy will lead to depression, resentment, or both, and each party will feel lost and unwanted. Sometimes intimacy isn't good because of performance. Sometimes it's self-esteem and you don't want to be touched or looked at, even by your partner. Sometimes intimacy is scary because of past trauma or distrust. Sometimes intimacy feels like an obligation. My solution ended up being a breakup, followed by an open marriage that has made us thrive and build self-confidence in an intimate connection with no more pressure or fear, only lust and fun, fueled by the love we already had built for each other. That worked for us, and it won't work for plenty of people, but finding what works only happens when you talk openly about your feelings and why things are the way they are. Story 29. If every relationship has gone terribly, if every person you date has been terrible and the absolute worst person, the common denominator is you. You keep dating them, or accepting invitations to date from them, and if you've never been single for more than a month, then you just keep moving from one relationship to the next without processing what happened. Also, if your partner ever opened up to you and you turned around and used that against them, that's why they aren't opening up, or just broke up with you soon after. When you betray someone like that and use their vulnerabilities to hurt them, especially to win an argument because you'd rather hurt them than admit you might be wrong, then you deserve to be broken up with. Likewise, if you've never gone asked them to open up and they do and you belittle them for what they shared, for some people that can be even more hurtful than being cheated on. Story 30. Your girlfriends often give you terrible dating or relationship advice that has a lot to do with them directing their own insecurities and neuroses into you and aren't about having your best interests at heart. I have seen both women friends and guy friends, partners do some self-sabotaging, out-of-pocket things because their girlfriends advised it. 9 times out of 10, your guy friends will have a far better read on how to best relate to and build a healthy relationship with your male partner. Story 31. Oh, this one is easy. I'll give you literally the only piece of advice you'll ever need, yet no one, men, women, and everyone else seems to understand. Freaking communicate. Communicate your needs. Communicate your worries. Communicate your good days and bad. Just freaking talk. This isn't even just about intimate stuff, but also communicate your intimate needs. Don't just sit there sulking that your partner doesn't satisfy your desires if you don't freaking tell them. Anyway, back to the other point. Any fight can be avoided by simply talking it out. No screaming, no stupid, you know what you did, idiocy, I'm fine. None of that stupid crap. If they said something that bothers you, say, hey, that thing you said doesn't sit right with me. I would appreciate it if you'd make an effort to avoid saying that around me in the future. If your partner refuses or says something like, it's just guy talk or some dumb crap like that, red flag. Okay, maybe like a lightish, right? But still be wary. If your partner refuses to communicate in a calm and dignified manner, or perhaps with a sense of poise and rationality, dump them. The point is, talk about things. Like literally talk. Don't yell, don't sulk, and abso-freaking-lutely do not start blaming crap all over. And talk about the issue at hand. If your partner called you something hurtful during intimacy, it's not about the freaking dishes. Don't bring it up. Talk out the issue at hand, and once that's solved, you can politely ask, can I talk to you about something else that is bothering me? Speaking of politely, ask to talk. Don't just walk into the room like, this is bothering me. Also, this is a big one. Venting versus solutions. The major thing for the second person is knowing if the initiator is looking for solutions or just needing to vent. If you start on me, witching about how Kathy at work stole your lunch again and you were really hungry, I'm going to suggest a decoy lunch filled to the brim with that hot sauce made of basically pure capsaicin. If you start out with, I need hugs and to vent, then start witching about Kathy stealing your lunch, I'll gently hug you, pet you, and listen. Then I'll ask if you want a solution. If you say no, that's fine. If you say yes, I'll ask how sadistic you want it. So to sum it all up, just freaking communicate. It really is that simple. Men, women, and everyone else, just talk. For the love of Slanish, just talk. Story 32. Respecting women doesn't mean holding the door open for you. Respecting women also doesn't mean the bare minimum, like not grabbing your bum when you don't want him to. Respecting women means valuing your opinion equally to that of another man. It means respecting your decisions and not second-guessing or thinking he knows better than you. It means trusting you to be a capable adult and acknowledging where your abilities or knowledge surpass his. It means respecting your boundaries. Many times I've told a woman in my life that I don't think a man respects them, and their response is, he's always very respectful when I'm with him. And what they mean is that he isn't disrespectful towards them. There's a difference. And that lack of genuine respect towards women inevitably comes out in worse ways down the road. Story 33. You don't do well with hints, at all. Even if, and I do mean if, we can be pretty stupid, we actually pick up on the hint, it's very likely we're just going to either ignore it or not act on it out of fear of misinterpreting the situation, making things awkward. You cannot fix someone. This is not a particularly gendered issue, but it's still relevant to say here. We do not like you playing hard to get, at all. There are far more important things to do than chase someone who's actively refusing advances. It's childish and immature, and that's a big turnoff. Never initiating intimacy or making it a transactional affair is the fastest way to end a relationship. You should not have to be the ones always initiating or performing some sort of task to earn intimacy. It also makes us think you don't give a crap. Story 34. I see a lot of dating filter advice aimed toward the behavior of men here, but it goes the other way around too. Treat your spouse like you want to be treated yourself. If you want the full princess treatment, you better show appreciation and do something nice for your partner as well, or things will get old fast for your SO. They don't find a cue when you're financially responsible. We, unfortunately, are wired to value looks first, and they are a barrier to entry. Looks alone also will get you nowhere happy. You are not unique. There is statistically no perfect fit. You'll have things that you don't like about your partner, and that's okay. Don't let small issues deter you from something that is 95% great because you hope that there's something better around the corner. After you have gathered enough intel, of course. Story 35. Don't assume all men are the same. Don't assume you're all getting matches in these apps. Some of us are on them for years without a single match. Most men do not care if you're taller or shorter than us. It makes no difference to the relationship and aren't embarrassed holding hands walking in public places with you being the taller one. We don't care how much you earn. We don't judge you on your wealth like so many of us do. We'd rather date the nice, fun McDonald's worker than the bossy CEO. Most of us don't care to be with someone who puts so much makeup on as you don't look like you. Natural is better. Give me a girl who just got out of bed with sweatpants on over someone dolled up any day. Story 36. This is sort of advice for women, but goes hand in hand with another one here. Mixed signals or a no, which a lot of people often focus on men pursuing women who might not be interested in them, but it also means that women need to be more clear in their intentions. I've had a few women in my life say something along the lines of, "Man, I would have been interested if you had made a move," and wouldn't understand that I wasn't making a move because they weren't being forthright in their interest. I didn't want to come on too strong. Being flirty in person and then reserved over text is a classic example. Story 37. Not a man, but some universal advice about relationships. Relationships need to benefit both parties. Them being in a relationship with you has to be better than being on their own. And for the relationship to survive, them being with you specifically has to be better than any random-shaped other person. If one person is always the one who has to compromise, you're not partners. An intimate partner relationship should be two people supporting each other to be the best version of themselves possible. Your partner should never be tearing you down to make themselves feel better about themselves. You should never feel like you're competing with each other or that their success is your failure. You should like who you are when you're with them. And there are times you can be with someone, love them with all your heart, but for some reason you may be simply incompatible. Maybe one of you really wants kids and the other really doesn't, for example. That doesn't make either of you bad people. But if you stay together, one of you will be asked to change a core belief, and that will ultimately lead to resentment. Understand the boundaries aren't demands you make of another person. They are you clearly stating what you need or will accept in a relationship and what the consequences will be if your needs are not met. You can't control what others will do, only your reaction to what they choose to do. The opposite of love isn't hate, it's indifference. Once they no longer care if you're happy or sad, it's over. And never stay with someone who doesn't care if you're unhappy, provided they aren't inconvenienced. Story 38. Grieving and depressed men will never ask you to send intimate pics if you offer. It's different, but if he says XYZ passed away in my life and I'm depressed or things are going really bad and I'm depressed, can I please get some pictures of you to feel better? That's a lie. Yes, if you offer to send a man those pictures when he's depressed, that's different, but if he tells you he's depressed and he wants those pictures to feel better, there is actually no depression or any problem at play. If he asks to see a picture of your smiling face, that's normal. He asks you to send pictures of whatever you see interesting throughout the day, that's normal, but if he's genuinely depressed, he's not going to ask you for pictures. He'll only say yes to them if you offer first, but he'll never tell you that pictures are going to cure his depression because he's not actually depressed. Then, story 39. Be direct and honest. Men don't get hints or vague messages. If you want something or feel a certain way, just say it. More often than not, your partner will do the same. Make the first move. Anyone worth a damn isn't going to bother you. If you want a good guy, approach him, make the first move, and be direct. You'd be surprised how many decent guys barely date because of this. Don't try to move fast. I've noticed this is a problem, especially with online dating. Women often want to meet instantly. Personally, I'm never comfortable meeting someone without talking and getting to know them a little first. It might take a couple of days, weeks, or even months. Someone wanting to get to know you first is a good thing. Marriage is not a goal. Too many people I know have fallen into that trap, especially now that we've gotten older. Find someone who chooses every day to be with you. If marriage comes, then so be it, but that shouldn't be the goal. Having a solid, healthy relationship is. Story 40. If you want your husband or boyfriend to adhere to his duty to protect you and potentially take a bullet for you, don't cheat on him. That's a hell of a trade. He protects you with his life with the expectation that you don't disrespect him or be disloyal. Also, the reason it hurts worse when women cheat on men is because your husband or boyfriend is expected to provide for you financially and protect you with his life, while the guy you're cheating with doesn't have to spend any money or take any bullets. Don't commit to a man you're not willing to make that trade with. It would suck if a man risked his life to protect a woman who was cheating on him, don't you think? Story 41. It is okay to check with your friends for dating advice, but make sure they're dating you, not your friends. Too many women I've met relied on their female friends for their opinion on a guy too early into the relationship. Too many push trauma onto random guys they barely know, and a lot of them are not attracted to the same qualities you are. Also, status and popularity are not everything. It's not worth being unhappy so others could envy you. Don't avoid dating someone from the same culture as you because you think they will be like all the other men in your family. Don't confuse drama for happiness. Story 42. Straight men truly don't think the same as women or gay or bi men. Most straight dudes I know are just focused on the next thing, not vindictive or calculating, they're just doing. Many of my female friends get caught in a whirlpool of emotions fueled by their friends who have similar thoughts but aren't always right. I've witnessed a few couples split because of this. Dating advice, it takes two to tango, and communication is key. Encourage open communication from the beginning to talk about things. Talk to one friend if you need to, but only after talking to your partner. This does not apply to narcissists. Story 43. Don't fall for the version of the person that's in your head. Believe them when they show you who they are with their actions. Never trust just words. You're more attracted to a person when you have confidence and knowledge, not when you turn into a pookie boo who needs help all the time. But also ask for a little help every now and then so they can feel like a man. Never show all your cards. Being in love can make us do things. Believe that they are some perfect beings, but they're not. Never trust someone completely or show all your insecurities. Be vulnerable, but don't be naive, unless they're the same on the other side. Don't just assume. Always communicate. It can help you immensely. Also discuss what they think about cheating or what they think about micro-cheating. Before you give out more information, try to get from him. Story 44. Never commit to a long-term relationship before going to a vacation one-on-one with a guy. Especially select a vacation that involves some kind of challenge. Tough geographies, hiking or trekking, a foreign country or territory, etc. You'll learn his character, how he handles conflict. Will he protect you and provide for you in case of an emergency? Does he lie when confronted with adversity? How he manages his finances? Is he creative, a good problem solver? Can he handle stress? Is he going to blame someone else for his failures and errors, etc., etc.? You'll learn a person's real character when you take a vacation together. It should not be a vacation in an all-inclusive resort, though. It should provide opportunities to test the above situations. I went on a vacation with my ex-girlfriend and I was in love with her. At the end of the vacation, I was no longer in love. On the contrary, I went to vacation with my ex-girlfriend and I was more in love with her at the end of the vacation. Now we're happily married for 15 years. 2 beautiful kids and I'm still madly in love with her. Going on a vacation is the single best test to identify whether someone's character matches yours. If you're in love, you'll either wake up from it or that love will even further strengthen. Go on a vacation, but observe deeply. Story 45. I think not enough women consider what kind of man will come with the qualities they desire, how those qualities tend to manifest. I have a friend who met a man that enjoys the same type of social dancing that she does, along with many other women, and in her words, is charismatic and confident. He's also a moderately high earner and an ambitious type, so of course you can understand her distress when she finds out he's a bit of a ladies' man. I think there are certain traits that lead to obvious outcomes, and a lot of women idealize certain traits in men they want without considering what that looks like in the real world. Well, if you like these stories, here's more. YouTube thinks you're gonna love this. Catch you in that video.